As someone who casually follows baseball outside of Seattle, I don't know who David Fletcher is. I don't know who Jonah Heim is. I can't believe I actually remembered his name here. That guy should not be looking like, again, David Ortiz against you. He's just dropping clutch bombs in your face. It's the Texas Rangers. This is the minor league baseball team. And yeah, I'm sounding cocky now as someone who follows the Mariners. Guess what? Our standards are raised. We can act like little show ponies when it comes to the way that we carry ourselves walking around. At least for now. Maybe we can't next year. Whatever the case. That shouldn't happen. You shouldn't lose 2 of 3 to Texas. But can we pause for a moment? This is where I do the record scratch. Can we stop just saying, oh, it's the Kendall Graveman trade's fault? Can we stop with that? Can we stop? Because if you take a look at the numbers, the Kendall Graveman trade has been good. The Diego Castillo trade, it is removed. Obviously, Saturday, he's the one that's blowing things. Hopefully next time around that's not the case. Graveman's only pitched once since joining Houston. That's it, just once. Abraham Toro has played every single game for the Mariners since joining. He is 9 for 18. He has 2 home runs. He has 3 doubles. He has 2 3-hit games. This is a guy that, honestly, I look at it and I'm thinking, man, Houston's got a really good infield if this guy isn't able to see more playing time. And, of course, when he played for the Astros against the Mariners, he was doing damage too because he had a home run in the first game. This is a guy who I think looks like a pretty good player. And add this to the equation. You know, the bullpen, it's the Mariners' strength. Maybe you are best suited by keeping your strengths strong over the course of a season. But I'm of the belief that you try to spread the wealth around. Your bullpen can't be your entire strength, especially long-term. You can't predict it year to year. We'll see what happens with Diego Castillo. You don't know that Graveman was going to do this next year, but this team needs lineup help desperately. Negative 56 run differential. I mean, that's not good. And this is a guy, Abraham Toro, who has been, thus far, great. 9 for 18 is great, especially for this team with so many guys that are hitting sub 220. Who were hitting sub 200 for a while. So, I get it. Chemistry, blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to dismiss the idea of chemistry entirely, but people are acting like this thing is the end of the world. Now, some of you guys are going to feel one way about Jerry DiPoto. You're going to say, I don't want to hear anything he has to say. Others, maybe you're like me and you feel like he's taking the team in the right direction, though you have some questions and you wish that he had done a little bit more at the trade deadline. But DiPoto kept it real. 2021, what they're doing right now, it's cool. But the additions of Castillo and Toro are for this year and for years to come.
We're a young team. We're growing. We would very much like to be in the hunt for a postseason berth this year, but we feel like 2022 and beyond are real opportunities for us. And, you know, the additions of players like Diego and Abraham Toro really help us in that regard.
And this made me even more happy with the move in retrospect. When the Mariners made the Austin Nola trade last year and got Ty France in it, Jerry had been pursuing Ty France for a while. This is a guy that he and the Mariners front office felt really good about. And they finally were able to get him. And guess what he has been since joining the Mariners? Really good. Abraham Toro is also somebody that the Mariners have had their eye on for a couple of years.
He's been on our radar for years. We've roughly been in touch with or trying to acquire Toro, I would say, for the last 3 years, on and off. And it's always hard to do deals in this league in general, but it's always particularly hard to do them in your division.
There's a track record. With Ty France, he was right. Isn't it possible that he's going to be right with Abraham Toro? And aren't the bats the big question that you have for the Mariners the rest of the season, not the pitching? That's how I feel. But I'll leave that up to you. This is the question of today's show. 710-710 on the Mac and Jack's Brewing Company text line. I also have a poll up on Twitter. Akalon says, what's a bigger concern for the Mariners the rest of the season? Their pitching or their bats? To me, it's their bats. They got to start scoring. Yeah, the bullpen fell apart Saturday and Sunday. But, I mean, you're scoring, 3 runs Sunday against the Texas Rangers? You're scoring 4 runs against the Texas Rangers on Saturday? Well, you did on Friday. That should be a realistic thing that happens every single time you go up against Texas, even if you aren't one of the better offenses in baseball. And you had plenty of opportunities over the course of this weekend. I believe 24 runners left on base. You had plenty of chances. You got to come through with them. And you know what? One way to get better results at the plate is to, I don't know, add a bat. Jerry did that. So I think it's time for us to stop playing the sad little tiny violin and move on. Because this is the real world. And yeah, feelings, chemistry, all of those things, they are not without importance. But this team needs to move on. And Abraham Toro should be helping them do that. We'll see how they do in these upcoming series, though, against Tampa Bay and New York. Yikes. Tough stretch. And that's why losing 2 of 3 to Texas is embarrassing.